And now, ladies and gentlemen, Square Ring Incorporated, along with your undisputed, undefeated King of Beers, Budweiser, this Bud's for you, present round for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship of the World. This bout is sanctioned by the Florida State Athletic Commission and the International Boxing Federation. IBF President Robert W. Lee, Supervisor for the IBF Florida State Commission Chairman Alvin Goodman. Officials at ringside remain the same except for the three judges. Scoring the bout on a 10-point must system for this bout will be Rick Bays, Harry Davis, and Al Rothenberg. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, veteran referee Brian Gary. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance here at Jacksonville and the millions watching around the world on television, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with white trim. He weighs 165 3/4 pounds and brings a professional record into the ring of 19 victories against 2 defeats with 2 draws. He has 5 knockouts to his credit. He comes to us from Saint-Joly-la-Belle Province, Canada, and he is ranked number 12 in the world by the IBF. Mesdames et messieurs, the challenger, Erika Lukasa. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing gold, black trim, weighing in at 166 pounds. A 1988 Olympic silver medalist, now with a perfect professional record of 31 victories without a defeat, 27 KOs to his credit, and he is considered by many to be, pound for pound, not just the best fighter in the world, but one of the best athletes in the world today. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the pride of Pensacola, Florida, the 2-time world champion and reigning undefeated super middleweight of the world, the champion Roy Jones Jr.
All right, gentlemen, I'll be the man in charge of this world title fight at all times. Just score a knockdown, go to the neutral corner. Avoid the use of your head as a weapon, no rabbit punches or low blows. Protect yourself at all times. Shake hands and come out boxing at the bell. Good luck.
Jim, did Michael Buffer say, let's get ready to tumble?
You gotta admire any man who has the courage to step into the ring, and you gotta admire Erika Lukasa for taking all of the flack he has taken for accepting this assignment against Roy Jones.
Well, fortunately for him, he doesn't understand English, and he's getting $100,000 anyway.
Lukasa has a lot of scar tissue over both eyes. His cut man, Bob Miller, acknowledged to us that it could become a factor if Jones connects early and is able to produce a cut.
Well, Shakespeare said men die from time to time, and worms eat them, but never for love. Jones should be weary of any praises from this point on. George, you never know why they're praising him. You just don't build a guy up just to tear him down. He's a good fighter. Muhammad Ali went to Canada against a Canadian like this, thinking he'd get an easy payday, and ended up getting the worst body beating against George Chabello. 15 rounds after he beat Sonny Liston.
All of that is a brilliantly arranged way of saying don't disrespect anybody, right?
Not all. Mike Tyson went to Japan to get an easy payday. No, there wasn't even any betting in some parts of the country. He went away bruised, looking on the canvas for his mouthpiece. George Foreman went to Africa, looking to whip an old guy. Roy
Coach Foreman has already suggested that Roy Jones might have given up something in the legs tonight by having played those 14 minutes of basketball today, and Jones relatively stationary as the first round gets underway.
That's what frightened me about playing basketball in one day, then trying to box in the same. Feet is not moving up and down like he normally do.
Not the kind of conventional fighter who normally works everything off the jab, but he started out with the jab and the conventional stance and none of his usual athletic artistry here in the first round.
Got a tendency to try to be a little conservative because you've wasted energy. And if you give this guy Lucas any kind of encouragement, you're going to have a fight on your hands.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
All Lucas has to do is to avoid any punishment, keep this fight going into the 6th and 7th round, then open up with whatever he can do.
Relatively cautious first round for both fighters. And a lot of hotel lobby wags who are predicting a first round knockout this afternoon are mildly embarrassed at the moment.
Well, if I'm in Lucas' corner, I would tell him, don't try anything until the 4th and 5th round. Extend this fight as long as you can.
When we go to Eric Lukas's corner between rounds, for the first time ever here, a French interpreter. His name is Jean Brassard.
Yeah, he's encouraged by Yvon Michel, his trainer here, to take his time and wait and take his time. And then let him go. Don't stay on his right. And stay low, stay on your right. Don't tilt your head forward. Just when you feel his jab, just lower your head a little bit. Going well. Stay on your side.
All that adds up to play defense.
Jones threw 38 jabs in the first round against Eric Lucas. I'd be interested to know how many jabs Jones threw in 12 rounds against James Toney. It might not have been as many as the 38 he just threw in the first round here. And he starts out pumping the jab again in round 2.
One thing good about Roy Jones, he doesn't even look for an opening before he throws his straight right hand. If you even have your hands up, he'll just push that punch right through it.
And he lands the left hook. And Roy Jones is starting to open up and show Eric Lucas a little bit of what he's got.
Eric Lucas should be cautious. Jab to the stomach and move back. Keep jabbing, moving back. Do not get confident just with your hands being up.
Lucas going to Jones's body, hoping to take out whatever's left after the afternoon of basketball.
Jones hasn't thrown a lot of punches, but he's sweating a lot in the face.
Throwing punches of many more varieties here in round 2 than was the case in round 1.
Good right hand by Roy Jones.
Right hand lead over the top. Sometimes with Jones, the more unconventional he gets, the better he is.
Every time you hit Lucas, he seems to stop doing anything. And that's the time to get Jones before he can get back set.
Across the right side of Lucas's face. If it had landed flush, it was going to do some damage. Lucas bravely coming back and landing a combination of his own.
That's wise because he gets in 2 good shots, Lucas, and then he backs away. Great. Roy Jones can really get you standing in there trying to go toe-to-toe with him.
Jones just a little bit short with his punches right now. You expect that within the next couple of rounds he'll try to step in another few inches.
Well, he's not Superman. He's heard all that criticism. He's not fighting anyone, so he's going to do well here tonight. Anything less than a knockout, he feels they're going to talk about me bad now.
Quick leaping left hook as he switched positions on Lucas, and there's the first hard right hand, and it momentarily stunned Lucas, but he's got a pretty good chin.
Well, Roy Jones is doing all of this with his hands. His feet aren't moving that much.
Just as you predicted would be the case, Big George.
Doing a lot with his hand, but his feet aren't there like normal.
I got you there. All right, baby. He's still laying out there. You touch him a little bit more. That's good. That's good. Give me some water. Give me the water. On my face. All right. Wipe his face off. There you go. That double jab working for you. You start landing that second jab. Start landing that second jab. Right hand that start landing. It's falling short. Now you're getting on target with it. Start hitting with that right hand. Start pulling the hook behind. Get a little Vaseline on his face, bro. Give me some. Okay. Okay. Doing good. Let's keep him. He's still a little tentative about coming in. He feel it behind. You'll be able to get some good trap shots in. He's laying out there right now. Okay. Ready to work. Ready to work. Just take your time. It'll come. He'll make a mistake. All right. Water.
You saw those punch stat numbers. Lucas has landed 6 punches in 2 rounds.
And Jones landing 23% of his jabs in the first 2 rounds. That's just slightly below his season field goal percentage. And Lucas felt his foot slip on a slick spot here in the ring.
He also felt the power of Roy Jones. He recovered quick, Lucas did, but that was a good right hand.
Hasn't landed a power left hook yet of the kind that starched Murky Sosa in Madison Square Garden. Roy stepping in maybe an inch or two and getting closer to finding the range with those right crosses over the top.
About this time, Roy Jones is starting to wonder about those newspaper clippings that said, hey, this guy's nothing. He's wondering when is he going to flop.
Well, he's a solid, conservative fighter. Landed only 6 punches, as you saw in the first couple of rounds. He landed 2 or 3 right there. And now eats a right hand from Jones, and Jones goes to work with a multi-punch combination. And just as you said, George, when Jones starts throwing with that piston-like hand speed, Lucas stops and waits.
You know, it's so hard to get in a good sweat like Roy Jones had earlier today and then come out here and get warm quickly. You give it all once, you loosen up, and it's hard to do it twice in one day, especially when you're trying to win in both instances.
Left hand to the body by Jones, just below Eric Lucas's right elbow. That one was blocked on the arm.
But it still hurt. Roy Jones is landing the power, but he's not as accurate as he normally has been. Generally, those shots hit you on the tip of the ear or somewhere around the chin.
Jones holding the left hand out straight and feinting with the right as round 3 came to a close. And still to come. If you tuned in late, don't you worry about a thing you have not missed. Our videotape replay of last Friday night's confrontation between Julio Cesar Chavez, fighting in what he himself computed to be his 100th fight in his career. Some official record-keeping sources still say it was the 99th, but either way, it was against the rising star of the 140-pound division, Oscar De La Hoya, and we'll show it to you right after this.
So basically, Lucas is being encouraged again to stay low and to wait his time and to stay on his right. He's being advised that Jones is going to keep coming to him and stay on your right. That's the advice for now.
This is the trainer who said that Jones would have to have his worst night and Lucas his best night for there to be any result other than the one we expect. He's just trying to get rounds out of Lucas. He's a fairly clever defensive fighter.
Punch stat numbers indicate that the first 3 rounds were a festival of missed jabs. Jones missing 100 out of 112. Lucas missing 37 out of 40. Harold Letterman, I see you have it 30 to 27 so far.
Jim, is there any other way you can have it? I mean, you know, up to this point, really, it's all Roy Jones with that jab, an occasional left hook, and a good straight right hand. He's doing the damage. Eric Lucas fighting a defensive fight, not punching much. And it's the only way you can have it.
Jones starting to throw that lead right hand more and more, and now it's starting to land flush, George.
Well, Lucas' corner told him to stay low. Now he's up a little straighter than they wanted him to be. If you're not doing anything, stay low. Even though he has a better reach, still has to stay low because Jones got that right hand.
And you saw Jones whip in the one left hook to the jaw. And now as Lucas lunges in and takes a chance on throwing a punch, Jones comes up and under with the right. Defensive battle and the occasional boo coming from the upper reaches of Jacksonville Memorial Coliseum. So Jones goes to work to give the crowd a little bit of its money's worth.
Well, the time to throw punches is when Jones throwing shots, throw back. Lucas stopped throwing anything. I think the biggest mistake Roy Jones has made is to listen to all of this talk about him not fighting anyone. Big mistake. He tried to argue it. He should have had his mind set as much as his body set on fighting a quality opponent tonight. And that's what he's doing.
You said to him yesterday in the fighter meetings that he was making a mistake, allowing himself to be distracted by all this.
Too much distraction because you use up energy arguing with people that managers should be arguing with.
Yeah, but George, he's the one who handpicked this opponent because he didn't think he was much of an opponent. So no matter what anybody else says, he has already made that decision.
A lot of us are flying off to London next week. Here's why.
This year at Wimbledon, there'll be only one royal family. At least one that gets along and knows the score. And only HBO's got them. Billie Jean King, Martina Navratilova, and Mary Carrillo. Wimbledon 96 on HBO. Court is in session. Begins Monday, June 24th on HBO.
All right. Here you go. All right, baby. We're going in the 5. In the 5.
Round 4, Roy Jones's most aggressive offensive display so far.
You look at the sweat dropping off of Roy Jones and then look at the sweat dropping off of Lucas. totally different guys tonight.
What do you mean by that, George?
Sometimes sweat falls pitifully. Sometimes it just falls. That's not a good sweat for Jones. He's going to really have to get out there and do something and do it quick.
Well, you have to assume that Jones was so conscious of rehydrating today that if anything, he's drunk too much water. I mean, he's bound to have been drinking water all afternoon in the wake of the basketball game.
That's true. Now, he didn't have any legs because of that basketball game earlier. Now he's allowing himself to get hit in the body. That's going to make it worse.
But he just busted Lucas with a hard left hook, which is one of his hardest connects of the fight so far.
I think Lucas should have gotten a little lower earlier and stayed lower.
It's hard to stay down there, though. Straight right hand.
First time Roy Jones starting to use his feet a little bit.
Yep. Second wind.
Nope. I think it's the bluff.
You mean you don't think he really has the energy to back this up?
Not at all. It's a bluff. Lucas stayed the course, got a little lower, and if he goes to the chest and to the body now, he'll do good.
Jones landed an uppercut. Lucas feeling the will to get aggressive again. Got to respect Eric Lucas for what he's done in there so far. He was not expected by many to last into the 5th round.
He's a better expert at what he does than what other people said that he couldn't do. Than the other people.
Jones with another virtuoso display of skill and unusual punching angles here in round 5.
Eric Lucas is following good directions from his corner. They told him, bide your time, stay low.
Well, you've said all along that beyond 6 rounds, it would get a little iffy for Jones, and we are in the 5th.
Lucas been able to land good left hooks to the side of the chin of Roy Jones' chin.
And he's landed a little bit to the body, too, which may over the long haul be the more significant thing.
And you put a guy like Roy Jones in front of his hometown crowd like this, it'll make him do something desperate. He may get knocked down himself.
Home state. Some of them probably came from Pensacola, but it's a northern Florida crowd. Pensacola, you know, that's like a 6-hour drive away. It's not close by, yeah.
Almost a homeboy.
Yeah.
Lucas is fighting rounds, but this is not a competitive fight, guys.
Harold Letterman, how do you have it so far?
Well, Jim, not a terribly hard fight to score. 5 rounds to nothing, 50-45, Roy Jones Jr. He's doing all the punching. He's landing the good, solid, effective shots. He's backing the guy up. Eric Lucas certainly can't get around for taking shots on his jaw. Eric Lucas certainly isn't doing enough to win a round. But on the other hand, I don't think Roy Jones has done enough to win around 10-8. So it's easy, 5-0, 50-45, Roy Jones Jr.
All right, let's work him. Let's work him somehow. Let's work him somehow. Okay, baby, give it to me. We're sick.
Lucas is landing around 6 punches a round.
I think this fight was a lot more competitive because Roy Jones did not expect to be hit so much.
George, he's getting hit 6 punches a round.
Now Roy Jones starting to move his feet a little bit more. It's like he's been saving them.
To me, this looks like a race between a Porsche and a pickup truck.
And it is. But a pickup truck has a bigger gas tank than a Porsche. That may be what Lucas is banking on.
Larry, Roy Jones did not intend to be hit like this. Say what you want, this is a competitive fight.
We've staked our positions, George.
Hard right hand by Lucas, his best punch of the fight so far. Jones retaliated with a left up and under, and Lucas nearly doubled over.
Jones did something smart. He went a left hook to the body. That's going to be his salvation tonight. He'll land some body punches to make sure this fight goes your way. Another right to the body by Roy Jones.
Wasn't throwing many body punches early on, but he's gone to that strategy within the last round and a half.
The first time, Lucas backed up a little bit. Left hook by Lucas. Punches up.
Another left hook up top. This one misses for Eric Lucas. Jones, as cautious as you might expect for a man who's played 14 minutes of minor league professional basketball today, with players who are a little bit better than he is, although he says his defense is improving all the time. Lucas pirouetting away from a Jones footwork move.
That's what I like to see. When Roy Jones decides to use hand and feet, there's no one that can compete with him at this time. But when he's just using his quick hands and his feet in one place, nothing can happen. When you flurry, you got to get out of there also. Good right hand by Lucas.
But a left hand by Jones, and Lucas spitting a little blood out of his mouth as this round comes to a close.
T'as pogné avec son uppercut, c'est quand t'es descendu à ta gauche. OK? Reste bien sur ta droite tout le temps.
Stay on your right all the time, he's telling you, Michel. His trainer, stay on your right. That's all there is to it. And now take a breath.
Mais là encore? OK.
You can do it.
Là, il va essayer à tout prix de te sortir ce round-là. OK?
He's going to try to get you out on this round.
Après ça, on va rentrer dedans. Là, c'est le dernier round, il va rentrer.
Just
il va
hold
essayer
on.
de passer celui-là. OK? Donc, déplace-toi vers ta droite.
I know that one. I'm brilliant. I'm here, shoot.
I wonder how Ivan Michel, Lucas's trainer and manager, knows that Jones is going to try to take him out in this round. Actually, he told some of our camera people in the dressing room earlier that he would try to get him in the 6th or 7th round.
You mean Ivan Michel said that?
He said in the corner, he said he's going to try to take you out in this round.
Yeah, but when you're saying that somebody told our camera people earlier in the dressing room, was that Jones?
No, that was Jones who said that.
Oh, so he said he'd try to take him out in the 6th or 7th, huh?
Yes.
Well, maybe Ivan Michel just has real good intelligence.
Now, Lucas, if he's going to win this fight, these are the rounds coming up that he's supposed to pull ahead. He doesn't pull ahead now, chances are going to be slim.
Coach, he's losing every round. I mean, it's going to be hard for him to win a decision of some sort.
Yeah, but I would have thought that he was holding back, but now he can no longer hold back. He's got to go for broke.
I see.
You want to extend the fighter who's played basketball in the same day.
Well, he's accomplished that.
But then you got to jump on him in the 7th round. You don't want to give him any encouragement. And that's what he's getting with his left jab now. Only encouraged.
Well, you get the feeling that if Lucas opened up and threw a lot more punches, he would only create more opportunities for Jones to hit him.
I don't think so. Jones is playing the old quick punch. I'll hit you if you hit me. If you don't hit me, I'm not going to do anything to you. He's being conservative also. This is what Lucas has to do, and he has to do a lot of it right now. Take a breather, and then take him back to the corner and do it again.
Jones continually backing up into his own corner and trying to lure Lucas in there with him. And when Lucas goes in, he's been thrown to the body, which is probably the smartest thing he can do.
Lucas should throw 6 punches while he's on the rope. take a step back, take a deep breath, take him back to the ropes and do it again.
Lucas getting his chances there and going to the body. Roy Jones tapping and pecking with that awesome hand speed. They trade with each other as they pop back out of the corner.
We see all the hand speed in the world, but not much feet speed. No foot speed at all. The feet are stable.
And maybe not quite as much punching power as has been the case in the past few fights for Jones.
Because you need your legs to land those good shots.
You can work it. Hold the rope, Eric.
I just think that Lucas has a real good beard.
7 rounds down, 5 more scheduled in the battle between Roy Jones and Eric Lukasa. Crowd not certain how to react. They had expected a possible early knockout. Still to come, our videotape coverage of last Friday night's battle between Julio Cesar Chavez and Oscar De La Hoya. How good is De La Hoya? See for yourself when you stick around with us after Roy Jones Jr. tries to finish up this performance against Eric Lukasa.
Nice. Yeah, try to work your jab up and down, see if he'll change up in it. See if you can get him reaching down so you can get your hook in. He catching. Got that hand up high. Crank down, come up top, then try to throw your hook in your right hand. Yeah. He got them damn hands glued to his head. Give me some grease on his right side, left side.
A little bit off the top of the knot. There you go. Hey, Roy. I'm ready, Roy. Merkerson a little bit disappointed, it seems, as he says he's got those damned hands glued to his head. Well, what does he expect? That's what you're supposed to do to defend yourself.
Yeah, but what he's saying is he's not winging enough punches, so he's just fighting a defensive fight.
Roy Jones switching to a southpaw stance and loading up left hand leads, and he lands a couple of them against Eric Lukas's chest. Lucas slowing down for a moment to pause and get a look at Jones in the southpaw stance. Generally speaking, when they're in the middle of the ring like this, Eric Lukasa doesn't throw many punches. What'll the southpaw stance do for Jones here, George?
Well, for Lukasa, it's important that he continue to do what he has been doing all the time. Let the other guy change up, but you stick. He's changing because you've done something to him that he doesn't like. So you stick to what you're doing, don't change. But because he doesn't have a record of many knockouts, I can't see why he's waiting for 1 or 2 punches. Lukasa.
George, this guy's like a football team behind 35-0 at the half.
And running the ball.
And running the ball into the middle of the line.
Yeah, he's not trying to win the fight, I don't think.
He's trying to land a good shot.
George, the man's got 5 knockouts in over 20 fights. He doesn't have any good shots.
Sometimes you can't tell fighters that they don't have many knockouts.
Jones apparently intent on fighting the whole round as a southpaw, but still leading mostly with the left. Now he considers switching back to his conventional stance and goes southpaw again.
He did not do it quick. Step one foot and then the other back. Normally he just skips it around.
Uppercut landed inside for Roy. Still landing a lot of punches here as round 8 continues. Right hand landed flush. Not landing with enough power to damage Eric Lukasa and get him drunk.
He's making Lukasa want to box this round.
Maybe Lucas's idea here is to break Roy Jones's hands on his jaw.
Give him a different picture. That's good. Okay. There you go. Hit him a lot more now. We in 8. We're going to 9 now. Going to 9th round. How you feel?
Harold Letterman through 8 rounds.
Way to work.
Give us your score, or do you have to give us your score?
Larry, I guess I got it the same way as everybody else. 8-0, 80-72, Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones has landed all those good shots. When he went southpaw, certainly he drilled Eric Lucas with really good straight left hands. Eric Lucas just is not throwing punches, and that's why he can't win around. But very interesting. Roy Jones Jr. fades into the corners a lot. I think he's doing it to rest, I'll be honest with you. The basketball game may have taken something out of him because he does get a rest when he goes into the corners.
That's when Lucas mounts what for him might be considered offense. Through 8 rounds, Jones landing 39% of his punches. That's a little bit down from the kind of connect percentage he has been flashing in recent fights. And Lucas has gotten it up to 25%. He's now landed 53 punches in 8 rounds, and that's almost 7 punches around, Larry. Stepping it up. Jones with a right hand over the top. Crowd getting restless. They had been programmed to expect a knockout. Lucas taking a lot of blows to the head, and when he lands, as he occasionally does, usually to the body.
Well, the tide has turned, and it's obvious now that Roy Jones is having a time with this. It's no longer a fight that Lucas can pull out.
So you've discovered to your satisfaction that Lucas doesn't have the offense or the punch to do anything with having tired Jones out.
I would have thought after the 7th round that he'd go out and try to get a knockout, but he just doesn't have the punch and the sting in his punches to deliver a quick knockout. So he's got to wait and let Jones recuperate whenever he wants, rest, and hit him.
Now, should Jones satisfy himself with the easy decision here, or is it an embarrassment to him if he doesn't score KO?
I really don't think Roy Jones can get a good, clean knockout. So now he's going to make himself not look so good. But he should just stick to his jab, occasionally throw a good right hand, and look for a quick knockout.
All great fighters have been in the ring with opponents who just wouldn't go.
Said about Muhammad Ali early on with George Chavello. He did everything he could, and Chavello was there every round.
You know, guys, there's now a cut on the bridge of Lucas's nose. I think a case can be made that this is a fight that should be stopped. He's taking a terrible licking. He has no chance to win this fight that anybody could see. He's put up a brave front.
He's being asked if he wants to stop. He's okay. Take the opportunity to stay. Take the opportunity to fight and punch anytime you can. When he comes right next to you, just push him back. He's giving you the chance. Just push him right back.
C'est correct. Reste bas, c'est correct. Mais repousse.
Nick, word up, Ty.
All right. I think Yvonne Michel has to start thinking about how much he loves his fighter, how much he wants them to fight in the future. Just being able to say he went the distance with Roy Jones I don't know if that's worth this. What are your thoughts on that, George?
Well, you're a fighter. You're being paid. You didn't want to be a professional fighter. Take it. Go into basketball full time. Sometimes you dance to the music. You got to pay the piper.
And now there is blood flowing from both nostrils in addition to from the cut across the bridge of the nose. And Eric Lucas is distracted enough by that he's not throwing back, and Jones is landing continuously. And I think Brian Gary is starting to think that this might not be a bad stoppage. Gotta admire Lucas's guts.
Keep it up, Eric.
We've seen a lot of French-Canadian fighters, tough guys, when they get down to the States.
If Lucas doesn't open it up now, it's never. You gotta fight Lucas. You don't have a chance.
Now he's too slow, George. If he opens up and throws a lot of punches, he's just going to get raked. He's going to get ripped by Roy Jones because of the disparity in hand speed and Jones's counter-punching ability.
He's done everything he should have done, but nature just didn't give him a punch.
That's right.
To make this thing switch. Sometimes a referee has got to look at that and say, hey, I don't think this guy can pull it out. Boy, but he could get a knockdown here. Boy,
you wouldn't mind seeing the stoppage either.
Not at all.
It's going to be called a slip.
No punch, Roy. There's a slip. Let's go.
Blood flowing freely from Lucas's nostrils. Still a minute 15 to go in the round. The four fighters who went the distance with Roy Jones were James Toney, Jorge Castro, Bernard Hopkins, all of them dangerous, hard-punching, good throws, and Fermin Chirino back in 1993, earlier in Jones' career.
I think it would do Jones better to fight more quality opponents.
Fascinating. I think you've got a point, George.
Lucas did a fine job as far as strategy was concerned. Just doesn't have that dynamite punch that he needs to turn the tide.
That's the best punch of the fight, that hard left hook to the lower jaw of Eric Lucas, and Lucas was rocked back on his heels by that one.
I think if Roy was sitting ringside with us, he'd be saying, stop this fight.
He sure would. He's a big advocate of safety stoppages. Well, let's see if the ring doctor goes to Lucas's corner.
It's all right? It's all right? Good? How do you feel?
Comment ça fait? Tu veux qu'on arrête, hein?
He doesn't want to stop.
C'est sûr que je vais l'arrêter si tu lèves ta tête, ça fait frapper comme ça. S'il arrive et tu n'es pas capable de contrôler, retiens-les, pousse-les, mais reste pas devant lui comme ça. Tu comprends-tu? Je laisse
Just push him back if he comes to you. Just push him right
Mais
back.
certain, là. Bon, mais il n'est pas capable
sure you wanna go?
C'est pas qu'il frappe extrêmement fort, mais là, tu laisses ta tête là, puis il frappe tout le temps. Quand ça arrive comme ça, soit que tu le frappes, soit que tu le retiens, mais tu l'empêches de continuer. Tu compris?
Punch him or
C'est pas question de
hold
t'arrêter
him
tes
on.
coups avec ta tête. Là, maintenant, reste
Don't
sur
use
tes
your
jambes.
head. Stay on your legs.
Continue à te déplacer vers ta droite. Reste bas.
Stay low.
You shouldn't ask a fighter if he wants to go on. You tell the fighter.
That's what made Angelo Dundee so great. It has been great.
In round 10, Roy Jones dispensed with the jab and went with all power shots. He threw 83 power punches. That's all he threw in the round. He landed 40 of them. That's too much punishment for any man to have to take.
We've got a brave opponent and a brave referee. Too brave for my taste.
It's getting grim in there. A grim-looking exhibition now.
Well, you got to wonder about Roy Jones. You got a fellow on the edge like that. He doesn't want to quit. There's ways of winning boxing matches without destroying a human being.
Yeah, Roy doesn't enjoy this, George. I don't think that he likes it at all. I saw you waving to the ring doctor, but you didn't get his attention, did you?
Nah. Roy Jones, if he's in good shape, he can just finish this with a nice left jab, body punches to make sure the guy doesn't hurt him.
Roy switching southpaw one more time. And just laying these punches in there, not really trying to commit to a punch right now because I think he's as concerned as all the rest of us are about the damage he might be doing to Lucas.
But you got to protect yourself because Lucas is still at this point trying to get Roy Jones.
Left hook to the top of the head. Straight right hand snapping Lucas's head back. You just kind of wish that referee Brian Gary would take things into his own hands.
Lucas should just fight. Fight.
There he goes. There he goes.
Fight. Keep fighting.
Go into the body.
If you're going to be in the ring, fight.
Yeah, because somebody in there is likely to be fighting. May as well make it you. Roundhouse right. Lucas takes that one just the way he's taken all the rest of them. Left hand snapping his head back. And if they came for blood, they're getting their money's worth.
It's now bleeding from the right eye of Lucas.
Eye, nose, mouth. Right on the point of the chin with that left hand.
Now, if the referee didn't stop it earlier, he need not stop it now.
Bleeding real hard.
We got one left.
One round. He's got one left.
Let me close it up there now. That's a bad cut.
One last round.
Tell me. No more.
No, we're not going. This is it. The fight.
Good for the doctor.
This is it.
Good for the doctor. TKO for Roy Jones, and not a moment too soon.
I think that was cruel, though. He's got beaten all those rounds. He wanted to go to 12th round. He shouldn't have been stopped. Roy Jones is not going to get any more powerful now. He could have went home with the victory that I went 12 rounds with the great or the good.
So your opinion changed as the 10th round came to an end?
Sure, after it's gone 12 rounds, don't step up and stop the fight then. It's not like Roy Jones is going to come on stronger.
I don't know, George. I just don't know what point would be made by letting him fight the 12th round. I understand what you're saying. But we all know that Jimmy Garcia got way too much punishment against Gabe Ruelas.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That is right. You got to consider that.
Harold, how'd you score it?
Well, Jim, 110-98, 11 rounds to nothing. Roy Jones Jr., he wins all the way. I mean, absolutely way ahead in this fight. I scored the 10th round 10-8 because he beat up Eric Lukasa so bad in that 10th round. I mean, it was certainly a 10-8 round without a knockdown. And I want to tell you, Jim, I agree with you, with Brian Gary 100%. I would have stopped the fight. This kid took a terrible beating. Roy Jones Jr., still a magnificent one, still one of the best in the world, a hard hitter, great leverage, great punches, really good power. He kills you.
And he gradually took Eric Lukasa apart, paced himself in the first 6 rounds, maybe a little bit drained after the afternoon of playing basketball, maybe not, but for whatever reason, he didn't really open up and start unloading the kitchen until around round 7 or 8, and then once he did, it was target practice. So with Roy Jones having scored the technical knockout over Eric Lukasa, here's Michael Buffer with the particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Brian Gary, acting on the advice of the physician ringside, calls a halt to the bout. The official time. The knockout comes at the end of round 11, winner by TKO, and still the undefeated IBF super middleweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.